Speaking of Cameron Moore on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, again, same podcast, same DMX Tupac debate. Cameron reveals his relationship with Juelz Santana and basically says that Juelz Santana could have been one of the biggest artists of all time, but he isn't because he didn't put in effort. Basically, toying with the word lazy, essentially. And this, I've heard this before, and you guys can kind of guess who we've heard this from before, from a different artist with a different crew that is similar to Dipset, that starts with a G, ends with a T. You guys know what I'm getting at this point, because we've heard this from, I don't want to mention, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So, I want to play this for you guys because I want to know what you guys think, and then I'm going to talk about what this actually means. So let me get the clip for you guys.
He got bangers.
No, I'm not gonna lie. When I first heard Juelz rap, I was like, yo, because at that time I wasn't speaking to Killer, so I was like, yo, this nigga got one.
Yeah, like that.
Juelz could have really been he could have been Hove level.
Real talk, he had it, and he had it at a young age. He could have been a leader of everything that's going on outside right now. He could have been all these young father, uncle, whatever you want to call it. Like, that's how much, because the chicks liked him. He could rap. He was fly. He had every element that you needed to be that.
Yeah, he had the real wittiness to be like one of those special rappers.
Right, exactly.
What stopped him? You was there, I wasn't.
Well, I'm gonna be totally honest with you. To me, Juelz, I wouldn't say poor work ethic, but I'm just not sure why. Juelz will sit there with 300 songs on his hard drive and won't put it out. If you follow Juelz now on his Instagram, I haven't spoken to Juelz in a while, but he'll tell you next month, so-and-so is coming out. Next month, so-and-so is coming out. So next month, so-and-so, it doesn't come out. If you think about it, he wanted to get out his deal with me. He's like, I'm not putting out no music till I get out the deal with Cam, and then I'll put my album out. And he been out the deal since 2008. He started to put little mixtapes out here and there, but he hasn't put out like a real project. So I'm not gonna say he doesn't have great work ethic. I don't know what it is once he got the songs done, why they don't come out. I speak to his brother all the time.
Most artists do that.
And he's sitting there with 800 songs in a hard drive. So I have no idea, but once he wanted to get out his deal with me, I made it happen. And I just decided we still brothers and still cool, but I have nothing to do with as far as your music career. That's since 2008. Everything but him. When we was working, look, we used to have to lock Juelz in the house, straight up and down. When he's 15, 16, you don't want to go to school, you ain't going outside. You come with us to the club. Yo, you did them songs. All them songs that you hear, the bangers, was forced. Yo, write the song, my nigga, write the song. But it got to a point where I can't treat you like you're a grown man now. I can't yell at you. I can't scream at you. All them hits, gangster music, Santana's Town, all the hot Hey Ma was when we about to walk out to the club. We had a crib in Chicago, and he'd be like, come on. I'd be like, did the 16? He'd be like, da-da-da. I said, we'll bring your bitch back. You're not coming out until you finish the song. You're not going. Straight like that, he'll tell you. And you're not coming out. We'll bring your hoe back, and if you finish the 16, we'll let you have her.
Yeah, Juelz was definitely top five.
And that's how the songs came about. So when we started working together, I'm not saying the work ethic I put, but for some reason it's not translating into the public hearing it. Like I said, you go to this page now, every month he's saying something's coming out, something coming out. And the reason I know this is because I'm waiting, I'm a fan. I'm sitting there saying, when's the shit coming out? Because I would like to hear it. Yeah. But it just doesn't come out for us.
This is interesting to hear from Cameron, and I'm not surprised, man. Here's the thing, when people think of groups, you guys got to think, or anything collaborative, you have to take into consideration that everybody has their own personality, everybody has their own style of doing things, everybody has their own type of work ethic, everybody has their own things going on in their life. So the frustrating thing, and I've had this on my own, like when I had, people on my team that have been fired, you try to motivate, or you try to help the person, and you try to motivate them, and you try your best to give them everything that they need to be successful, and it just doesn't happen. The person doesn't want it to happen. the person is just not that motivated, not that dedicated, whatever the case may be. And you can't force that onto anybody, man. Who knows if Juelz Santana was going something personally, like he's going through something personal. Who knows? I know people were saying he had a drug problem, whatever the case may be, because his teeth missing. Juelz said that was he ate a lot of candy and it caused a lot of cavities, so that's why he had a lot of teeth missing. And then he got dental work later on. I don't know what that is, but he could be going through something personal too. That's a lot of a reason why somebody would stop making music, would stop having that work ethic. But there's a this is why Cameron is Cameron and Juelz now is Juelz at this moment in their careers. Because you can have all the fucking talent in the world, you can have the swag, the flow, delivery as an artist, but if you ain't got the work ethic to put in the work, none of that shit's gonna matter. It'll last for that moment, you'll be hot, but after that, man, you're not gonna last, man. You gotta have that work ethic. It needs to be consistent, and that's why Cameron is what Cameron is right now. That's the reason why a lot of artists that were leaders of their labels and groups are what they are right now. Because, even though they're rich, they still keep working. They still keep doing their thing. And he's right, though, man. Juelz has announced projects, albums here and there, and never drops. There was that project with Lil Wayne, Can't Feel My Face, never came out. At the peak of, like, their hot careers, whatever. That never came out. Lots of things, man. And I think Juelz has a lot of talent, has that. But the thing is with me, with a lot of these older artists, and this is not to disrespect them. I don't mean this in a disrespectful way. At that point in your career, when you're in their 40s, 50s, it's really hard to get a second career going, like where people are interested, a new generation's interested in you, and you get on fire again. It's very hard to do. I don't think I've ever seen anybody do that, a hip-hop artist. I'm trying to think. Nas has done it, where there's a point where people just weren't really listening to Nas, but now he's like on top again, getting Grammys. But I'm talking like on a mainstream level. I'm talking #1 hit records, Billboard Hot 100. Has a hip hop artist, let's just say been hot. Let's just give a timeline of this. Been hot in the 90s, and then hot in the 2020s, or hot in the 2000s and hot in the 2020s. Again. It's very, very, like, nobody's done that. And you can't say Eminem. Eminem took a 4-year hiatus. But Eminem's always been on top. Like, he has, I'm talking an artist that was hot for, like, only a couple of years in the early 2000s. Let's just say Nelly did a little bit of that. Like, Nelly in the early 2000s was hot. Kind of fell off after, like, 2005, 2006, 2007. And, like, 2009, 2010, he dropped that Just a Dream record. I caught him again hot. But that was like only a couple years. I'm talking like a gap of like, when's the last time Juelz was like, had like a mainstream success? Like Lloyd Banks, Beamer, Benz, and Bentley. Like that was the last time I can remember like where he was on a record that was like buzzing and doing well. And maybe, I don't know. I got to think really good about it. But it's that gap, like it's hard to become hot again after that. It's harder because you only get a one-time introduction to the world. And, after that, they kind of know what to expect from you. So if you drop, like, trying to get back hot after, like, 20 years, 30 years in your career, it's pretty much done at that point. Like, nobody's going to... So I'm not saying that to say that that'll never happen with Juelz. It's a possibility, but it would have to be very, very something unique for that to happen. And Cameron is right, man. A lot of artists complain about being on labels. Once they get out, boom, you don't see any work ethic. You don't see nothing drop after that. So it's like, they just use that as an excuse as to why they're not dropping music. Because if they said, hey, I'm lazy, I'm not dropping music, you guys would be like, what the fuck? Like, you don't deserve to be whatever you're at right now. Now, Cameron is saying he's not lazy because he is recording music, but he's not releasing it. So, we get that from Dr. Dre, but Dr. Dre's not a rapper. He's more of a producer. I get that producer aspect of it because producers have a certain different type of ear and they expect a certain type of quality and sound, at least great producers. So an artist, though, it's like, bro, just drop the music. I feel like a lot of artists get scared, too. It's like, what are they going to think now that I'm 40-something or 50? And how old is Juelz? I know he has to be in his 40s right now. There's no way. I know he's not in his 50s because that'd be way too old. Yeah, he's 41, so he just basically entered his 40s. That's young, man. Still got time to be dropping music and doing your thing. But you know, that's the kind of behind the scenes stuff about a lot of this stuff, man. It's hard to get everybody on the same page. It's hard, if somebody's carrying all the weight and you guys aren't, it's like that person's going to get resentful towards other people because it's like, what the fuck? Why am I doing all the work? I got to force you to be in the studio. I got to force like a child, bro. You're taking care of a grown man child. I'm not saying that about Juelz. I'm just speaking in general that even in business, like, for example, me running this company, if I had a bunch of employees and I had to drag them and force them to do stuff and constantly had to push them to do stuff, I would start resenting them. And I would start, I would eventually fire them or just not want to deal with them ever again. That comes with everybody, man. If you had to force somebody to work and force and drag them and say, hey, man, you have such amazing talent. We got to get this out of you. We got to and they don't want to do it. You tried your best, man. You can't drag people to success. You can't drag them nowhere where they don't want to be. And, yeah, just very interesting to hear that, man. I don't know if Cameron's ever spoken on that like that, but it was interesting to hear.